What's going on, y'all? If y'all hear some noise, it's because I put on the heat in the car. It's a little dreary day today. It's on a Monday. Happy Monday. Happy holidays. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Luckily, me and my family always have the luxury of going to somebody else's house and eat their shit. We'll bring some cutlery, some napkins, plates, drinks, you know what I'm saying? I try to do minimal cooking as possible. I make some dirty rice because it's about all I'm going to contribute. I expect you to have a bud on deck, okay? And the sides, I'm just saying. But I am a gracious visitor. I will bring some if you want me to. I'm not selfish like that because you know you got people that are like that. Anyway, like I said, I hope everyone had a safe and blessed holidays. On my way to pick up Mooks from Head Start. She's been doing fairly well. She still has her intervention specialist that sees her once a week. She's been doing more visits at school than she has at home. Excuse me, y'all. I got this dry cough thing going on. It's aggravating the hell out of me. But yeah, she goes to visit the school once a week, which is great, you know, because I have the luxury of her traveling. But she does also make home visits and stuff like that. I hadn't seen her in a while because it's only so much like paperwork that needs to be like updated all the time. So, well, that was stupid, your goofy ass. Stupid. So anyway, sorry about that, y'all. So yeah, and I think there's this new thing on YouTube. You gotta advise, like, it's like viewers discretion is advised, I guess, for your kids and stuff like that. Look, I'm grown. I'm not gonna be PG-13 on none of my videos or whatever, because even though I have kids, hell, I cuss around my kids. I'm not saying I'm proud of that shit, but I'm just trying to tell you, okay, what it is. And I ain't the only person that does. Hell, you cuss when you stub your toe. You know what I'm saying? So don't expect none of my shit to be PG rated. But at the same time, you just know if you click on one of my videos, might be a little adult language going on. So anyway, yeah, like I said, she's been doing real well, and I have the convenience of her early intervention specialist. And that's one thing that used to be hard for me to want to talk about to a lot of people, was her speech delay. I mean, speech delay is very normal, but I didn't become, I guess you can kind of say, insecure for my daughter, so to speak, until I had a baby in South Carolina. And the doctor, the pediatrician, was the one who actually pointed it out, because she was, like, when we first started out in this centering thing, which is like a support group for experienced and new mothers or whatever. Of course, I'm one of the experienced mothers. You know, I did the prenatal version, and then it went on to like the baby version. And it was like a chance for the babies to fellowship with each other, you know, be cohesive, learn to adapt to being around other children. And it was only like once every couple of months, once every other month, something like that. So, and it was beneficial, you know. It was like, but I felt like the pediatrician tried to dictate my daughter's narrative early in life before she had a chance to really go out there and sprout her wings and show off her personality by trying to label her with autism. And I really feel like at the end of it, we need to quit labeling, because it's mainly black kids and brown kids that get labeled. You know what I'm saying? It's always a minority child. And it's aggravating as hell, because speech delay does not always constitute a delay developmentally as far as like mentally. And I think that's what she was just trying to say, you know, by throwing in the whole autism thing. And I was very pissed. And I just felt like, you know, don't slap that label on my daughter trying to dictate what her life is going to be before she even hits school, where she has to interact with other children. Now, mind you, my daughter is probably the most nonverbal child that they have in the class. However, she's not nonverbal to the point where she can't say any words at all. She's just slower than the other children, but every child works at their own pace. And even though I know these things, I did have my moments where I would get a little downtrodden on myself, because I'm like, you kind of almost, not that I don't think that I'm a great mother, you know what I'm saying? Every mother should think they're a great mother in their own right, especially if they do right by their children, and there's nothing they won't do to make sure that child is right. However, with that being said, you do have your moments where you kind of second guess yourself, because it's like, was it something that I wasn't doing that I didn't do enough of? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is making this happen? But my husband also had these issues where he had to have tubes in his ears twice when he was little, and he had to have help along the way, you know, like in elementary school and stuff like that. And granted, my husband is a very intelligent person, because it has nothing to do with your intelligence. But I feel like too, like with my daughter, for instance, there's nothing wrong with her finding gross motor skills or whatever. Those are on point. And it's challenging when she does go to school, you know, a place like Head Start, because I even had to explain her teacher, because for one, I'm not from around here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm from Charlotte or whatever. I currently reside in Greenville. I'm not from around here, but, you know, it's already hard enough when you're not from a place that you live originally. But at the same time, you know, it's Greenville to me is one of those places where they can have some funny acting people. Like, if you're not from around there, if you didn't grow up with anybody around there, or y'all don't have mutual people or whatever in between you, then they kind of give you that funny, weird look or whatever, like they know you're not from their neck of the woods, which is cool. I don't care about that, but also at that same time, don't just assume anything about me unless you're taking the time to get to know me. And I feel like sometimes, because that's even with my husband's mother side of the family or whatever, don't get me twisted, like, you know what I'm saying, I like them very well, you know what I'm saying, just fine, and I'm assuming that they feel the same about me. However, it's one of those things where when you get into a new situation with a person, sometimes that greeting isn't always so warm, because some people feel like you need to put in that effort for them to want to get to know you, and I feel like that's ass backwards. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I treat people how I am treated, or how I expect to be treated, or whatever. I treat people human. But anyway, so what I'm saying is basically when somebody doesn't really know about you that much, they just assume, like with my daughter, they assumed automatically that we baby talk her or whatever. Everybody got their moments with their kids, even if their kids are very verbal. They got their moment with their kids where they babyfy them a little bit, but we never babied her to the point where we was just goo gaga talking to her all the damn time or whatever. Whatever was gonna happen was just gonna happen with her speech. Because guess what? With my oldest, I didn't goo gaga him to death either, and he still ended up with speech problems. You know what I'm saying? We got through it, and granted, I didn't have the resources, excuse me, with like I have with Mooks, that I didn't have those available with my son. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff I had to figure out on my own as a single mother. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up getting his tonsils and his adenoids taken out at the age of 3, like 5 days before Christmas, just to help with his speech or whatever. And he also has history of, on his father's side, he has like 3 aunts and 1 uncle, rest in peace, Robert. They have cochlear implants, which, if you don't know, a cochlear implant, C-O-C-H-L-E-A, is usually a device that was initially made for deaf people, in order for them to hear. Now, I don't know what the percentage rate on their hearing would be when they get one implanted, but it's almost like supposed to work immediately once because you have to get stuff implanted like somewhere like up under the scalp, either the scalp, skull, or something like that, but it's like connected to a wire. It's like a permanent hearing aid. And so some people it works for them and some people it doesn't. But now his family wasn't born deaf, but they did have a lot of fluid on the ears. And when they first brought the issue up, he had something called tonsillar hypertrophy or whatever, which is basically like his having issues with his tonsils or whatever. But at 3, because kids are so resilient, that is one of the best times to have anything like that removed, have a major surgery like that. Because pretty much 9 times out of 10, as the child gets bigger, like my son is 17 now, he won't be 18 till February, I highly doubt he remembers getting his tonsils and his adenoids taken out in the same day. Like, it was only like an hour-long procedure because he was so small. But anyway, you know, I'm hoping it doesn't have to get to that point with Moops. Sometimes I really feel like if it's not that, it could be the fact that she sucks her fingers. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize, I mean, I know that there's kids that like suck their thumbs, but she sucks these 2 fingers. And I do realize that they can hinder the strength, you know, the strengthening of your tongue muscles or whatever. So I do think that plays a part in it too. She's a habitual finger sucker. I also, like, put it like this, it's never, I don't think, it's definitely nothing wrong with her to the point where she would have to be in a special class or special education or whatever. She has what they call global delay, when they have things like speech delay and stuff like that, but it's not direct, it's not exactly connected to anything bigger or major like autism. Because they try to say she was on the spectrum of autism, or like when she initially got into the Easter Seals program, who provides, you know, speech therapy and stuff like that for her. The lady who assessed her, it's like, it's under a big umbrella called BabyNet, and Easter Seals is like one of the subsidiaries that you are referred to in order to see those, you know, EIs, aka early intervention specialists and speech therapists and stuff like that. And you can also get occupational therapy and stuff like that. I will say, like in Rock Hill, when we stayed in Rock Hill, Moops did go to school part-time for like a few hours a day, and they did offer OT, which is occupational therapy. They offer OT, they offered ST, which is speech therapy. And because regardless of whether your child needed it or not, first of all, it was free. So whether she needed it or not, I wanted her to get the best of anything that she could possibly get. 2, they have like a certain amount of minutes per week that they have to fulfill with each child. So whether they need it or not or whatever, they're going to get it anyway. But even though her strongest problem area was the speech, I'm not opposed. Like, I have to tell y'all, like I tell the people who I've talked to, I'm not a mother in denial, because when you're a mother, it's that innate thing that makes you ultra sensitive to the needs of your child. So if your child is really having issues like that, like there are some, you know, like very few delays that are questionable in my mind. However, I don't feel like it's to the extent of she's going to need any type of special classes. I feel like as long as she's getting this therapy, I think she's going to be okay. But, you know, you always have those outside entities like some doctors. I'm going to say that doctor in particular, it was almost like she was trying to push that narrative, and that was pissing me off. So now, I don't know what she wrote necessarily in her referral to BabyNet, but when I did that initial assessment with BabyNet, it was with this older woman who you would think, if this is what you do for a living, this is what you do, you know, and like you're in this line of business, and I'm assuming based on your age that you've been doing this for a while. How is it, like, when she was giving her little activities to do? At that time, Moops was always in the house with me. You know what I'm saying? I was a stay-at-home mother. Wasn't my plan, but it was what it was. It was affordable, you know, and it saved us hundreds and thousands of dollars on daycare fees that we didn't really have. So we didn't have the money for anyway. But she would show her an activity and expect her to get it the first time she shows her. Hell, I'm 38 years old, and it's still shit that I need to be shown more than once or twice sometimes, depending on what it is. And I'm a very fast learner, and I'm a self-starter, which is something that my daughter picked up from me. Not saying that her daddy's not the same, but I'm just speaking, okay, y'all know what I'm saying, shit. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was just like stuff that I just was not cool with. And then after the fact, the lady had, like, how I got on Easter Seals was she picked out the program for me, because I had so much going on at the time that I actually forgot that I had to pick out a program. So she picked it out for me. And then she tried to slide in when I initially told her at that initial assessment that I did not want an autism screening because my daughter does not have autism. I'm not a mother in denial. I would know if there was something that evident going on with my daughter. And then on top of that, Moops was almost 2, like Moops had just turned 2 by the time she had that initial assessment. And it was like, damn, she still somewhat has the mind of a baby. Like, you need to give her a chance to get there. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the lady, she was like, we'll do it in like 6 months or whatever. Okay, whatever. I told you she don't need it, but whatever. So by the time Easter seals, I don't know if I sound real loud, I'm just thinking because there's noise outside, but the ladies from Easter Seal were actually younger than me. And so I was kind of standoffish in the beginning, which I'm not really like that. I'm very friendly and open, but I think it just left a bad taste in my mouth from the pediatrician trying to label her autistic to the lady trying to confirm that narrative at BabyNet. And then you got somebody else that's supposed to be, this is their profession. You're just anticipating somebody else saying something negative. Fast forward to, 2.5 years later, her being at Head Start, her teacher tried to bring it to my attention because there is an assistant teacher, but this is part of her program, like an externship, like an internship you don't get paid for because it's part of her teaching program. But I do like both ladies. Don't get me twisted, because the older lady, she's been in the business for about 35 years of childcare, whatever. And clearly she done raised some kids of her own. It's evident. So I do trust that of an older woman than I do a younger woman. And I'm not trying to discriminate, but 9 times out of 10, if you have raised kids on your own, then you kind of already know what to expect of kids of a certain age. So, and I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with young teachers or whatever, because I have a friend that's been in childcare for like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And she is so sweet and loving towards kids or whatever. Like, she's just made for that profession. But I say all that to say, the older lady, the older teacher is the one who actually approached me about saying baby talk to her or whatever. And I kind of like quickly got offended. And I was pissed off the rest of that day. And I told my husband about it, told my mom about it, and told one of my good friends about it. Because I only surround myself with people that are not yes people, that actually keep it real with me. Not just my husband and my mama, but like friends. You know what I'm saying? I'm very particular about those I keep around me and keep close in my circle, because I don't need a yes person. I don't need you to pacify me and try to make me feel better about the situation. I need you to keep it real, because in some instances, it's human to trip a little bit, because, naturally, it's your child and you don't want nothing to be wrong with them. But in the event that something is wrong with them, you would it's comforting to know that somebody showing empathy, basically. Not just necessarily, I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me, but you know what I'm saying? I've been struggling with this for the last couple of years, but for somebody who doesn't know anything about me or my history, you get what I'm saying? To sit there and assume that we're just baby talking her to death, and that's why she has this issue with speech. To me, it's like, how they say, when you assume the wrong thing, you make an ass out of me and you. So, they were like, pull the lady to the side and stuff like that. So I talked to both teachers to the side or whatever. It's like, I don't have a personal beef with nobody, but you got to understand where I'm coming from. I'm easily on the defensive when it comes to my child, because I've been hearing things like this on not a continuous basis, but pretty much since she was born. And I don't want to, I already know I have to deal with this shit when I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? We know what we have to deal with when we're at home with her lack of articulation. I don't need nobody else bringing it up, or I'm very protective of her when we're out in public. And some people can kind of tell there's a problem with her speech, and then you have some that be like, what is she saying? I don't understand. Them the ones that make me want to slap the shit out of them, like the dog shit out of them, like straight smack the head off onto the floor. Like, don't play with my child like that. Don't play with me like that. You get what I'm saying? Because now you trying to call her, I feel like you trying to label her a dumb, ignorant black child. And see, we really gonna have a problem, even though it might not be like that in their head or whatever. And I'm not saying it's just pertaining necessarily to white people, but I do feel like, you get what I'm saying, when somebody's kind of coming, there has been the ones that have said it like that. However, I'm not gonna make it a racial thing or whatever, because there's a couple of us that have done it too, and it make me want to slap the shit out of them even more, because it's like, not to say that it is expected for somebody to know of my child or be super sensitive to my child's needs as it pertains to her speech, but do not, because that is a child. You get what I'm saying? I feel like some people can be just out of fucking line. When you think that there's a problem, or you sense that there's a problem, I have the chance, I talk to a child regular until I am aware, or I am made aware of, that there is a problem present. But I don't go through the emotions of, what'd you say? Like, I think that's some offensive ass shit. And that's something right there, like, for real, people get killed for less. Not saying I'm threatening out there, so I don't want nobody thinking, oh Lord, Redman trying to pop a cap. No, I don't think it's that deep either. But you get what I'm saying? People get hurt worse for lesser shit. And I already, again, have to go through this on a day-to-day basis. I don't need nobody confirming confirming shit like this for me, you know, by pointing out my child's shortcomings as far as her speech goes or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Because then I feel like you're either picking, not necessarily picking at my daughter, but you pretty much stating the obvious. And it's just going to piss me off. But anyway, y'all, that's my rant for the day. I got to basically go pick up my baby. And I forgot what I said I was going to do some videos on. But, y'all, I'm just trying to get to them as much as I can. I've been trying to get through these appointments, you know, having stuff going on, the holidays and stuff like that. But drop in the comments below, excuse me, of subjects you want me to talk about and stuff like that, whether it pertains to my health issues and all this other stuff. And by the way, I got approved for my, excuse me, y'all. I got approved for my disability. So luckily that's going to definitely help, you know what I'm saying, with me and my husband and our bills and stuff like that. I don't know if I had mentioned that before. If you can see, I added me some a new piercing or whatever, because my rheumatologist forbade me to have tattoos anymore. I mean, I only got 2 no bigger than a playing card, so I mean, whatever. It ain't like I was a tattoo queen to begin with. But yeah, y'all, I hope everyone has had a blessed Thanksgiving. You have an even better Christmas. And as soon as I come up with another video idea, I'll be posting. Peace.